call the meeting to order for Thursday, March 21st. Roll call, please.
Mr. Martin?
Here.
Mr. Spence?
Here.
Mrs. Foreman's absent. Administrator?
Present.
Mayor?
Here.
Solicitors absent. Fiscal officers present. Mr. Merriman?
Here.
Mr. Mattern?
Here.
Mr. Degenkolb?
Here.
Everyone stand for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the
United States of America,
and to the republic which stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have the minutes from our March 7th meeting. Motion be in order to approve.
So moved. Second.
Comments or questions?
Abstain.
Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Abstain, Martin.
Gotcha. Mr. Martin?
Yeah.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yeah.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Degenkolb?
Yay.
Is there anyone that would like to speak before council tonight? Please come forward.
Good evening, Council. Robert Locker, your representative, various agencies. I just want to talk tonight about Steel Valley Regional Transit. We had a meeting today and the meeting, the last couple of meetings a week ago, but they just introduced, they have a new attorney representing Steel Valley, Robert D'Anibal. And he's a specialist in contracts and other matters, labor matters, so he's very beneficial to the Steel Valley and their needs. The financial matters in that were discussed. I'm not going to get into all that, but as far as the overall utilization of the bus service in Wintersville, both daily, Saturday, and weekend, it's doing a little. There's a little drop in it, not much, but the service is still there and is beneficial to the community here. Also, Wintersville was the recipient of one of the brand new buses that was received by Steel Valley. So we have that, and that's updated with regard to Wi-Fi and several other things. So it's the service is doing well financially. The service going to Pittsburgh on a daily basis is good, and so is the weekend Saturday movement with regard to people taking advantage of that specialized trip on Saturday to go up to the Highlands in that. So it's being well received by the community. With regard to other than that, the only other thing I want to talk about, there is a new individual they're looking at with regard hiring a maintenance supervisor for the garage because of the situation of the prior individual is being looked at with regard to the possibility of the interim transit manager since Frank Bovino, the former manager, retired. So that's about it. The new buses I'll tell you about. Financially, the service is in very good financial shape, no problems there. The other meeting I want to report on was the meeting I attended to.
Hey, Bob, can I ask you a question? Yeah. On the drop, you said Wintersville Park drop, the services drop for Wintersville. Are we still out in front of everybody else?
Overall.
Overall.
Steubenville, Mingo, and us. We dropped a period from 2018 at this time to the current. We dropped as far as in February, the meeting I went to, dropped 33%. I've got the exact overall figures, but March 21 as of the end of February 28, there was a drop of 525 riders, about 22.3%, which is not astronomical. It's the same situation as developed, and it could be seasonal with regard to the winter.
That's what I'm saying. When spring and summer, it's going to pick up again.
But overall, the service through the community, especially the service going to Pittsburgh every day, and the service of is provided to the Wintersville. The only thing is they're mentioning now the upgrade consideration. There was a request regarding Mingo because of the mill opening up. Now there is going to be a restructuring of the transit system in Mingo because of the mill opening up. So they need to provide some additional bus drivers and service to get to Mingo and adjust the time because of the work schedule there in the mill. So that's being addressed and taken care of.
All right, that's all I have.
Okay, with regard to Seven Ranges, Councilman Mattern and myself did attend the Seven Ranges Joint Fire District meeting on March the 13th. Basically, it was the approval of the contracts for 2019 amongst the fire district representatives, and there was all agreed to with the same position financially, percentage-wise of the levy distribution. So there was no problems with regard to that. The only other thing is there is some changes with regard to the auditor's department concerning how they're going to handle the distribution of the levy funding, especially with regard to the increase in property taxes with Indian Creek and the school system. So they're addressing all that down at the auditor's office and trying to get the monies out to the various entities in the county with regard to the redistribution of all the funding and the levies and all that. So they're working on that. With regard to, there is some consideration on the part, I guess, of Island Creek Township. They're looking at the possibility of trying to generate enough support in their community for a levy like we had to do here in order to get into the fire district. But that's tentative, and it depends on the people themselves how they're going to do that. You know, if they can meet that requirement, get that levy passed by vote like we did, they could potentially become part of the district, which is open under the actual contract. I mean, bylaws that we set up initially when the district was set up. Rob Harrington mentioned a situation whereby he's looking at the possibility of generating enough funds and support, both politically and financially, to incorporate a training center behind the fire station in Wintersville. They have the land available. Now, his concern was that, mark me, I think in Wayne Township, Wayne Community Fire District, they generated a lot of money over there and they put a heck of a facility in. We here in this area have no such training facility available. That would all the way to Columbiana, Guernsey County, Monroe, all the counties in southeastern quadrant. If he could put this thing together as a training center, I mark my word, it'll be very good. But it'll be a multi-story structure underground. He will incorporate some aspect of need for training underground facilities, but he's looking at trying to get this thing generated, and I hope he's successful. And if we need to come up with, I hope, support of the council, just not financially, but to support the endeavor, it'd be a good cause to do, because that he would have a facility that could be utilized by all these small communities and counties right here. And it would be updated, I guarantee you, the way he operates, it'd be a magnificent structure, you know, whatever he puts it in. They could do a lot of training there, benefit the whole community and fire district in the area. So other than that, generally speaking, unless Councilman Mattern can mention, recall anything, that's about all I have in the district. And VHJ is next week, and that's about it. Oh, the only thing is Rita, as far as after this tax season, they will be sending information to our administrator for consideration of the subpoena program. And I strongly urge, over the years that I've been involved in it, it's beneficial to the community because we do generate quite a bit of money. And we do that every 2 years. So that's going to be developing down the road, and we'll do that here in this building at this site here sometime probably about September, October.
Sounds good. Any questions?
Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're very appreciative.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that'd like to speak before council?
In regards to SVRTA, Bob He covered everything. And I just want to thank everyone I live on 339 Orchard Place. They did the potholes and done a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, letting us know that.
Since you brought up potholes, we were a little bit behind in fixing some of them because our brand-new roller broke. So we basically, we needed it for a couple of days, so we kind of had them give us a loaner, so we can get to them. So I think we're pretty much caught up, not the village. And this new machine that we purchased, that takes the cold patch and heats it up, has been a godsend. I mean, we weren't redoing holes over and over and over like we've done in the past. So
good.
I think it's been a godsend, well-purchased price for buying it. Actually, the administrator of Steubenville actually came out and looked at it. So he was very
Yeah,
impressed with
he
it.
did. He told me that,
So
yeah.
he might be looking to get one as well. So I think it was a great asset for the residents.
Good job, Walt.
Ordinances.
We have three ordinances. 2019-03 is an ordinance adjusting the pay rates of certain employees as requested by the administration. I think that's a second read.
Motion to suspend the rules. This goes in effect by April 1st.
So moved.
Second.
Comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Degenkolb?
Yay.
Third read, ordinance number 2019-03, an ordinance adjusting the pay rates of certain employees as requested by the administration.
Motion be in order to approve ordinance number 2019-03.
So move.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Degenkolb?
Yay.
What read was that on
That
that
was
one?
the third read.
So we just passed it.
Yeah. Same thing with this one. We had the first read at the 7th meeting, and I think he's
Second
going to
and
ask
third,
for.
no.
I'm not going to here.
No, not on this
You're
one.
not gonna do this one?
I have the effective date as. you want
Oh,
me-
I do. I have to. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I mean, I can change it.
No,
if you- Okay.
I mean, that one goes into effect until later in the year anyway, so it's not really.
You want me to just have a second read and I'll change the effective date? Okay.
Yeah, 'cause it doesn't.
Okay. This is ordinance number 2019-04. This is an ordinance providing an additional $1,000 upon the completion of each year of employment for full-time police officers hired and working for the Village Police Department for the first 3 years of their employment. That'll be the second read, and I'll change that effective date. We'll
Perfect.
have
Thank
that
you.
to, do that change. And then finally, we have an ordinance to approve permanent appropriations for fiscal year 2019, and Denise, do we need that?
This needs them. Yeah, we're going to suspend the rules. This has to be done by the end of the month.
Yes.
Motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Degenkolb?
Yay.
All right, ordinance number 2019-05 is an ordinance to approve permanent appropriations for fiscal year 2019, second read. Third read, ordinance number 2019-05 is an ordinance to approve permanent appropriations for fiscal year 2019.
Motion to approve ordinance 2019-05.
So move.
Second.
Comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Degenkolb?
Yay.
Thank you. Chief?
Thank you, Council. I don't know if you're going to ask to hire Apollo to clean, strip and wax the floors downstairs and up here on the third floor. It's been at least 3 years since it's been done. They have done work for us before. If there has been any problems, they have addressed it immediately and taken care of it. I did reach out to another local company. They have yet to come out to look at it to give me an estimate.
Who did you say was gonna do this?
Apollo.
We've used them in the past, and I was
they're a good
suggesting,
company.
they were here last time, we'll continue with them as council so fits.
So,
much
what's the
is it?
price on that?
Price is $675, and I have a quote here for you guys to take a look at it.
Motion in order to approve. not
That
to
comes,
exceed
that comes out of
$675.
the police fund or building or?
It'll come out of the general fund,
General fund.
the building.
Second.
Okay.
Comments, questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Degenkolb?
Yay.
Thank you. Reports and announcements. I'd just like to, if you're not aware, and you probably are aware, that approximately a week or so ago that the Legion had caught fire and had suffered severe damage. So it's probably going to be down for a few months, 4 to 6 months as they rebuild. So I did receive a call from Holly, their master leader over there. Sorry, I'm not sure exactly what her title is. Commander. That's it. So, and she wanted to express her gratitude and thanks to the police department, the fire department, for their hard work and everything. And a lot of other, like the FOP and others have opened up their facilities for their meetings and that. And as more information comes about their activities, they're going to let me know. There'll probably be some fundraiser events taking place. But the good thing is none of the main items, a lot of their historical items weren't damaged, which was nice. Thank God. And no one was hurt. So just keep that in your thoughts. All right?
Yep.
Administrator.
Only have one item. Request for the sewer department for a multi-parameter meter. It's $2,000. It's out of Blue Book. Basically, it measures pH, dissolved oxygen, temperature, and conductivity. The one they had has more than has its
Seen
useful
its
life
days.
gone, yes. And this is a replacement cost. It'll come out of their equipment fund in the sewer fund.
Okay.
Since it's more than $500.
Motion to approve?
A motion to approve.
Comments, questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Mr. Maturin?
Yay.
Mr. Degenkolb?
Yay.
Any questions for administration?
I got one for Walt. Someone who's property on, say, Main Street or a neighborhood, and the curbs are there, and they want to get access to the road, how do they go about getting the curbs cut?
They would hire a private contractor.
So it's up to them?
Yeah,
Main
they
Street
need to
they
get
can.
with Perry.
Well, Main Street is a state road, so they have to,
No, it still would fall under us for that.
right, there's only certain accesses you're allowed into certain areas that the state's provided. If you're talking residential, then
Right. Is this a business?
pretty open
It's
question.
nothing right now. It's someone's property. They want to be able to access it, so they can start working on, like, backfill and things like
We'll
that.
send them to the administrator to
Yeah,
review.
we'll have to look at it
Okay.
anyhow, but it's,
Typically their responsibility.
there's a local person that does it, and there's a firm in Columbus that does it, to cut it down, and we have to make sure that there's enough of a lip there so the drainage
Right.
continues, but yes, have them, we can meet them out there.
Okay.
New business, Mr. Degenkolb,
No new business.
Mr. Mattern,
No new business.
Mr. Merriman,
No new business.
Mr. Angel,
No new business?
Mr. Becker,
No, sir.
Mr. Spence,
No, sir.
Mr. Martin.
It ain't new business. It's a concern. Just about Phyllis. I've been gone for a while. Just how she's doing. That's all.
She's still in the rehabbing, doing much better. Hopefully, we'll see her here soon. So
Okay,
she's doing
thank
a lot
you.
better.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking. Anything else? Is that all, sir? Mr. Martin?
Yes, that's all.
Thank you. Motion to pay the bills.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yeah.
Mr. Maturin?
Other than an abstention on 41164, yay.
And Mr. Degenkolb?
Yay.
Is that new truck you bought?
Before we adjourn, yesterday we had a water break, and I want to go a little bit, not a lot of details about it. However, I want to thank the residents and the businesses for their cooperation and understanding. We've had probably about, I'm guessing, 15 fire hydrants in the village that have been damaged and unfunctional. I think, we put a hard effort on getting those fixed. I think we're down to about 6.
Maybe even 4.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So the guys have done a heck of a job in getting those repaired. The one at the Respecs building, the old former Respecs, has probably been broke and out of service for 7-8 years, okay? And basically I was on the guys to get that fixed, because one, we're trying to open up for tenants. 2, if something happened to that building, it'd be a hazard, because there's no water supply. So what happened was they were fixing that hydrant, okay? Typical maintenance, taking the hydrant out, turning the valves off, fixing it, okay? Unfortunately, again, because of the age and everything, and that property being overlaid with pavement on top of pavement over the years, what happened is the valve basically broke on it. So water was spewing 10 feet into the air, okay? So the only thing they could do was try to shut it off on other valves, which was what they did. However, the water wouldn't stop. So we had to stop the water from coming from east end of town, from down at the Fernwood site, okay? And the water should have been filling the tank from the west end. We should not have seen a water problem at all yesterday. However, we had to get out, reach the county to have them assist and figure out why the water wasn't coming from the west end. So they did resolve that. That got resolved. So we had water. We still didn't have high pressure, okay, because the tank was so low, from taking so long to do that. So basically, that's what caused the problem. And then from that, unfortunately, once it was repaired, caused a pressure issue on the main line behind Respecs, which comes in from the county, caused it to break, which we've had multiple breaks on that line. And I've been in discussions with the county of replacing that line altogether because not even 2 months ago, we had 3 or 4 breaks within 2 weeks on that line. So basically, that's what occurred. And we're going to continue to get these other hydrants. It just was an unfortunate incident that never should have happened. But unfortunately, when you're dealing with old hydrants, old issues, it's like fixing your house. You don't know what you're going to get into. So basically, that's what happened. So again, the boil order hopefully will be over in the morning. And one of the things, again, in speaking, with Walt, and we have a new billing system that isn't in place yet. There's about 200 accounts that need to be put on there. What we want to be able to do in the future is designate streets and areas so we can send voice calls or emails if we have them. Basically the residents have to supply those so we can get calls out on these water breaks. So we're not relying just on the media. If people don't get the paper or don't watch TV9, they don't get this information. So that's the long-range goal in order to try to get a better alert system. And we also, Brad, and we put it on the internet, which is nice. I mean, we're trying our best with what we have to alert everybody. But I think once the new system's in, we'll get something out to all the residents saying, hey, listen, if you want us to contact you during water breaks, boil orders, get us your phone number or email, we'll be able to do that in the future. That's the long-range goal. So I just wanted to touch everybody up on that a little bit. Also, one other item, and Walt is going to find out what the true verbiage is. It seems there's been at least a dozen of these over the 10, 12 years where residents get sewage backup or water backup through the sewage system into their basement. And by law, we have what is it?
Sovereign immunity.
Sovereign immunity,
immunity.
okay, where we're not responsible, okay? But unfortunately, the homeowner has to eat the cost. For dollars a month on their homeowner's insurance, this is covered. And I keep trying to get the word out. You need to make sure that your homeowners has this. So we're going to put something, try to put it on the water bill to make sure everybody calls their homeowner's insurance to make sure they have it. We just had another incident on Springdale. It's a terrible situation. They have $10,000 in damage, and their insurance isn't covering it. So I told them, we turn it into ours like we always do. However, it's going to be denied. And unfortunately, because of the sovereign immunity, there's nothing really we can do. It's not that we don't want to, but unfortunately, if you took 1,800 homes and we had 1,800 times 10,000, the cost is just, it would bankrupt us, okay? So it's not something that we can just give away. So it is unfortunate, but hopefully we're going to try again to get the message out to make sure people look at their homeowners and make sure they have this coverage.
That verbiage on a homeowner's policy would be the same across the board, right? It's not going to vary. Would it vary from?
I may call a couple
I think it's based on the insurance company, you know what I mean? But it's not, no, I would agree with you. I would think Allstate would be one price, Progressive would be the same.
I mean, I guess the terminology of what it's called, whatever the clause is.
Well, we're going to
It
find
may
out.
vary, yeah. I mean, I think what they do, I think maybe, as the mayor said, the best idea maybe just to put something on there
And let them
on the
figure
bill
it
and
out.
say, listen, call your local, or call
Right,
your
your
homeowner's
homeowner,
insurance,
yeah.
see if you can get, and you should be able to get coverage for it.
Right.
Yes.
But like you said, we have sovereign immunity unless we've done something terribly wrong and, either in the planning or maintenance of that, which we never do because our insurance company denies the coverage. It's sort of like if somebody gets a flat tire on a pothole driving down the road, not our responsibility. I mean, we're trying to keep the roads as, up to date as we can, but we're not responsible for that.
On that, talking on that issue, I had that situation happen to me in my insurance company. I has a backup in my basement, you know, where that's my carpet up and everything, in the same situation. He said, we don't cover water that comes up through the sewer like that. And then I said, then instead of me asking you 1,000 questions, I'm gonna ask you one question. What water do you cover if it gets in your house? And if you have a water line break, like if your water line in your house break, they'll cover that. If the water rushes into your house, they won't cover that. If it comes up to your sewer, they won't cover that. But if you got a pipe that burst, then they'll cover that.
They will cover it if it comes up through the sewage. There's a
Well,
there's a
but like
clause.
this, my insurance
Right,
company.
there is a clause, I mean, because
Liberty Mutual.
it's available, and you need to check with your insurance agent to see.
Let 'em
If
know
you don't
who it
have it,
is.
please,
Yeah, you may not have had the coverage, you gotta pay extra, like he said, you gotta pay
It's like
extra.
$5 a month or something to that effect, so, all right? Okay, motion to adjourn until April 4th at 7 PM.
So move.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, thank you, meeting adjourned.